Hello, everyone. Welcome back into the latest Get Tilted, presented by the Finn Sport Tot Network and Fantasy Now Plus. We have another great show for you lined up today. We're going to go through some games. We're going to do our build a roster. So let's not waste any time with the little hellos and how are you. Let's get right into the show.
You're listening to Get Tilted, only on Fantasy Now Plus.
We are back again for Week 11. This is Get Tilted. I'm your host, Brian Rockwood. Alongside me is the moneymaker himself, Tim Holstad, and we're here to help you crush your DFS lineups this week. Now, Tim, you and Brian, other Brian, I believe, crushed last week. Truly, you both took the top two spots in the Fantasy Now Plus. I'm going to call it the mini contest.
Yep.
How are you feeling? How does it feel that your wallet's a little heavier? Your mindset is clearly vindicated with how well you're able to manage your roster. Tell us how it went down.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Funny enough, I think the lineup that Brian and I actually built on stream probably would have done better than either of our real lineups. But, I said it a lot in the show. It was a very weird week. There was basically no values to be had. And it pretty much played out that way as well. Like, I don't think there was really any great plays under 4K that gave you more than like 10 points max. So it was really just like a concentrated, expensive slate, and you pretty much just had to accidentally pick the right guys to win. So it was weird, but, I came out on top. So we'll see if we can do it again.
You say that, and yet Devon Achane, as always, as per usual, came through. But this time, more so than ever, he had 3 touchdowns. He mimicked JT's morning performance.
Yep.
Come on, man. Come on. Yeah, I do have a little bit of a tilting story considering the lineups, because I came into the show last week and I asked one singular question, which was, should I play Caleb Williams or Jackson Dart? My thought was both of those players can definitely give you enough boom, especially playing against each other, both not really great defenses this season.
Yeah.
Just pick one and you'll be happy, right? I did not. I picked Sam Darnold instead. Because in all of the infinite wisdom, I thought, Sam Darnold plus JSN, this should be a lock, right? I feel this is pretty good. And the first 5 plays of the game, I felt so smart because it was just immediate strike to JSN, touchdown, awesome. And then it all came crumbling down. And, man, That was a pretty awful, feels bad. Doubly so, staring at Jackson Dart running in for the first touchdown, and Caleb Williams, I guess, is just turning it on. He's becoming the guy that we knew he was in the 101 type of draft person. So that was a tilter. That got me good.
Yep.
The last thing I'll note, there was one player under 4K, our favorite third-round draft pick, Kyle Williams. 1 catch, 70 yards, touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
Faded away to obscurity. Thank you, New England. Appreciate that. But that's in the past. We're done. We're moving on. We're here to make another great lineup. And to do that, it makes sense. We are so back. Unbelievably back. People forget that we were not back. And yet now here we are. At it again. But to do this, to make the most of our week, we'll have to take a look and see who is doing what across the league. So before we hop into the games, anything else before we head over to DK and start talking shop?
I don't think so. There's a lot to talk about. I think we should get right into it, to be honest.
Couldn't agree more. So here we go. We are in DraftKings, and we are in our weekly lineup. This is our week 4. Whoa, didn't know that I could do that. Our week 4 lineup, which is the best title of all time, because it's always week 4 here at Fantasy Now Plus. That way the season can never end. So, first matchup, first slate is the hilarious matchup of the Green Bay Packers versus the New York Giants. And I call this hilarious because we have our very own, not our very own, but fantasy's favorite backup quarterback, Jameis Winston, is back under center, ready to throw for 400, 4 and 4. And he's sitting pretty at 4,600. Is it stupid to just roll him out regardless and just be done with your quarterback before getting it to any other game?
I wouldn't say any other quarterback. There are some good ones that are also way too cheap, but when Jameis plays, you play him. It doesn't matter that it's the Packers. It doesn't matter that there's literally no one left on this offense. They might be without Darius Slayton again, but it doesn't matter. It's Jameis Winston. He's going to score fantasy points. He basically always does. So I think you can play him unstacked. He is that confident of a play for me. If you want to play Wandale, you can. If you want to play Theo Johnson, you can. I would just play him.
And it's hilarious. You pull up the game log. Just kidding. He's done nothing this season. Not even one, dead game snap. This is great. So we're gonna see some action, some fireworks.
Absolutely.
On the other side of the ball, do you just play Green Bay defense?
Definitely play Josh Jacobs. Giants cannot stop the run. The Packers cannot stop running the ball. They do not care how many wide receiver 2s they have on their team. They do not care that they paid Jordan Love a bucket load of money. They are just going to keep handing Josh Jacobs the ball, and he's going to just keep scoring points. So I think the defense is definitely a good play. Jameis throws picks a lot and fumbles a lot, so you're going to get something out of him for sure. But yeah, it's kind of a simple game, really. I mean, if you want to get fancy with wide receivers, you can, but it's anyone's guess as to who's going to get the targets last week. I'm pretty sure, who was it? Bo Melton and Dontavian Wicks led the team in targets last week.
Better believe it. Dontavian Wicks is a target king himself. Don't ask him how many receptions he had last year, but he definitely led the team in targets.
Yeah.
I am right there with you for all the pass catchers, honestly, on both sides. I'm out on all Green Bay receivers. The only thing to me would be watch Christian Watson's health. Yeah. Christian Watson's health. Again, obviously, because that's just what he does. He's made out of glass. But we saw him receive a lot of deep shots this past week against Philly, one of which he even played defense on. Not sure what was going on there.
Yeah.
But he is a pretty regular target for Jordan Love. I think the Giants' defense is just pretty weak all around.
Yeah.
You just got to hope he actually catches it. That's and with so few good options in this game and so much better options across the board in the slate. Yeah, I don't think we should really waste time here. I think it's either Wandale or no one else if you're gonna pick a receiver in this game.
Yeah, in like the Millie Maker, I could see Watson just because he can put up 30 if things fall his way, but he's not going to be like part of my portfolio really.
Easy pass, truly. And the same kind of goes for tight ends. I think Theo Johnson's the main name I want to highlight because he is just talented, but he just isn't really reliable, which is not great for a tight end, especially when there's a couple guys out there that are just the same price and better.
Yep. He had a connection with Dart We don't really know if he has a connection with Winston. I mean, Jameis was the third stringer effectively all season until this exact week. So there's not much to say that they even have that great of a chemistry to begin with. So I can definitely see fading him as a perfectly viable option.
And I guess if you're feeling really cheeky and you want a really, really cheap option, there's that Giants defense staring at you at 2,300.
Packers do love to turtle.
And we saw it even on 4th and 1. They decided to run the ball regardless.
Yeah.
To a fault. Hey, it's always good to know a team's tendencies, right? You can always figure out what they're actually going to do, and easy to plan accordingly.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to what I think is probably a bad game, but something we need to talk about because it contains Bijan Robinson.
Yep.
And that's the Carolina Panthers versus the Atlanta Falcons at Atlanta in the Dome. We have running backs that matter, and Drake London. And a list?
I'm really torn on this game. I was so into their last matchup. I'm pretty sure that was the first week you and I did a show together, and I talked up, hey, NFC South defenses are bad, chaos can happen, and boy did it, because the Panthers shut them out. What was it, 30-0 or something like that?
You bet it was.
And so obviously we can't say that that's prescriptive, but there is some worry that the Falcons just don't move the ball enough again to really pay off some of these prices. Like, I love Bijan, but he does not get red zone work at all now. It's basically all Tyler Algier, and you can't really play him because that's all he gets is red zone work and some meaningless short third down work in between the 20s. But, you know, if it's a week where Penix targets Bijan a lot, then he'll pay off for you. If it's a week where they get behind early and he just starts peppering Drake London, then you're going to be very disappointed that you paid up for Bijan. So on the Falcons side, if they go off, they'll be worth it, but I'm uncertain if they are capable of going off at this point.
There couldn't be more of a hot and cold team than the Falcons.
Yeah.
And it's hyper annoying because there's so much talent on this roster. And yet, for some reason, they can't string together games that matter for you. They whether it be for their own sake, right? For the actual franchise, the Atlanta Falcons. And then for us trying to play fantasy, we have one game where they torched the Buffalo Bills. And then the next they just, like you said, they just completely disappear against the Panthers. And then you see a game against the Patriots where Drake London has a 3-touchdown performance.
Yep.
And then I think, last week wasn't really awesome for Bijan. Algier took all the carries, and like you said, in the red zone.
Yep.
It's just a headache. It's the worst, despite the fact that there's a lot of good stuff going on here.
Yep. And then on the Panthers side of things, like, the Falcons actually have a good defense for once, at least on paper, and with some of the stats that we look at. And you want to play Rico. I mean, their rush defense is the only part of their game that's still weak, but we're also talking about the Panthers, and are they going to score touchdowns? It basically has to be Rico if it happens, because we know pretty much for certain now that Bryce Young is not a starting caliber quarterback. He is the 29th best quarterback in football. Like, he's not going to produce fantasy points for you. He's not going to elevate anyone to produce fantasy points for you. He's just going to snap the ball to Rico Dowdle at this point.
And it's not that bad of a strategy if you're the Panthers.
Yeah.
Because Rico Dowdle is good.
Mm-hmm.
Still baffles me that he walked away from the Cowboys with no contract. Well done, Cowboys.
Yeah.
But Rico Dowdle has just been truly one of the better running backs you could potentially roster, especially at his price point.
Yep.
He is now unfortunately reaching a price where I don't love it, but still cheaper than the main guys and still a matchup, like you said, where he can crush.
Yeah, I think he's in play. It's going to be gross, but you are also going to feel kind of dumb if you fade him and he does go off for 30.
That's just how it goes sometimes.
Yep.
You just think you're making the right call. They show you, hey, by the way, I'm still that guy.
Yep.
I hate to see it. Real quick, I just want to glance at the tight ends. Kyle Pitts, gross, but
he's not been bad this year. He really hasn't. Like, for fantasy, it's been average, but like he is the number 2. Like, we can very safely say that the Darnell Mooney thing is just not going to be a thing this year. He has been putrid. And Kyle Pitts has not exploded, but he has not really failed you too much either. It's just kind of been like average every week.
I mean, at this, kind of just looking at the history, at these prices, going 9 for 9 and 60 yards is pretty good. I'm happy with that, right? Like, and then his price jumps up, he kind of disappears, and he's just not really needed in the other game.
Yep.
All right, I take it back. I initially thought Pitts was more gross than he was, but again, PPR format, he's always available. Darnell Mooney, what's going on? Who knows? At least Kyle Pitts is a more, reliable type of target. Okay, I can see the vision. Jatavian Sanders, does he play football? I feel like barely.
His quarterback is Bryce Young, so I would say no.
Fair enough. End of discussion there, unfortunately.
Yeah, like we didn't mention Tet, and that's for a good reason.
Yeah.
You can't play him. You just can't.
Very, very last name I want to mention is Jalen Coker, only because I'm so sad that he's just not being used at all.
Yeah.
Like it in the Bryce Young resurgence at the end of last year, this was the guy that really made it happen.
Yep.
And no love from his QB. So don't be tempted by the bottom barrel price tag. Just stay away from the Panthers, and we'll be all right. All right, hopping forward, Buffalo, Tampa. I like a lot of people here, but it's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
Mainly Emeka Ibuka, 7,200. Just truly an actual, real, legit, elite wide receiver talent. Worth it if it fits your roster.
I'd say yes. There's a lot of very expensive receivers this week that all project well and you want to play them, but if you simply can't get up that high, like I think Ibuka is perfectly fine to get yourself 1,000 to 1,500 in savings and still have plenty of opportunity to get you a 20 to 30 point week.
And when you stack with Baker, I feel very comfortable doing that. I think that's generally a pretty solid strategy.
Yep.
I don't know how much Baker is this week at 6,400. Sure. It's a little higher than I'd like in terms of kind of what he brings as a ceiling play, but you could do worse.
Yeah. I don't think the Bills defense is actually that good. Like,
no, it's not.
Like, we know for certain that their rushing defense is awful, but like their defense in general, I just don't particularly have faith that they're just like a lockdown type of defense. I think Baker could easily rip them apart if the game plan calls for it.
Yeah, I'm shocked that DK has the Bills defense as a 4th ranked defense.
Yeah.
Considering they've had a very tough time with some like not good offenses.
Yeah.
And we just saw them get blown out by the Dolphins. Exactly. Oh boy, Buffalo fans. I'm sorry. The window has been shut, I guess. Is Josh Allen worth buying? at 7K?
He's always on the table. It's just, I don't think Dalton Kincaid plays this week. Shakir is questionable. Who's he throwing to? Like, he's honestly has become Jalen Hurts this season, where it's like the passing is just never, ever, ever going to be something you can count on, and you're just praying for a rushing touchdown or a bunch of rushing yards, and anything else you get on top of that is going to be the bonus. And so it feels kind of bad to have to pay up that much for what's basically just fancy Jalen Hurts.
And he was on track for an awful, awful, awful game against Miami.
Yeah.
And then he's kind of saved it with like some fourth quarter heroics, as Josh Allen does. Yeah, it's just tough. I did roster him last week, so it really hurt to see him kind of do nothing. And all of a sudden, it kind of disappeared. So that's a bummer. I just don't really think it's worth it to me this year. And as we'll kind of talk about more games, I think there's a lot of underpriced QBs that I'm more rather to roster.
Yep. And something that we haven't really touched on yet, because there is not much available again, is that the value is just kind of gone. Like the cheap players, why is this guy so cheap? Like outside of the quarterback position itself, there's not that many players that are under 4,000, 3,800 where I'm just like, yeah, I can easily squeeze 12 points out of this guy. Like savings are kind of at a premium again.
Yeah. And yeah, when we get to a couple of the really cheap options, I'm probably going to get too excited to talk about, namely Davis Mills, for a guy who truly doesn't really do much. Yeah. Luckily, being attached to Nico Collins makes that happen. All right, real quick, I do want to pop over to some questions that came through. KPT, lunch pants. I don't know if that's what the whole name is here. Hey guys, looking for advice. 12-man half PPR. I have Dart and Rogers, CMC, Henry, Benson, Rice, London, Tet, Loveland. Any moves to make? Currently 6 and 4. I mean, get a quarterback. Dart will be back most likely after this week. I don't like Rogers. I think Rogers is kind of bad. I would just look on the waiver and see who's there, because I don't know, as a backup, and if Dart is going to continue to run headfirst into defense, it's not going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Running backs, fine. I'm sure those aren't your only running backs, but seems okay. Wideouts seem good. It all depends on when your trade deadline is and what you can do and what's available, and all the magic that comes with specifically moves like this, where it's a pretty wide open question. Like I would get another tight end, because the Chicago what's it called, schedule is not great towards the end of the season. So just keep that in mind as you're kind of moving forward. Tim,
I would sell Tet. I would try and target someone better, package him with someone on your bench. I don't think it gets better for him this season. And even if it does, I don't know if it's meaningfully better. Is 12 points per game really that much different from 9 points per game? Not really. I would look at some of these semi-underperforming, semi-unsexy receivers that have just been good all year. Try and get a Michael Pittman, a Jalen Waddle, try and buy into like Zay Flowers as he enters like one of the easiest wide receiver schedules for the rest of the season. I would try and move Tet for one of them, I would say. But Loveland's a fine stream. You're obviously in the position of streaming tight end if you're mentioning him. So maybe go see if Darren Waller's in free agency and stash him for when he comes back. You can try and upgrade at tight end, but I don't think you're dead in the water if you don't.
Yeah, and to your point, I would go check in on the Jordan Addison owner.
Yeah.
Because the schedule for the Minnesota Vikings is very kind to wide receivers, and even if JJ McCarthy is like very much just a backup quarterback caliber player, I believe they played Dallas. Worth it.
Yeah.
Just right there. And there is some still learning. They'll get there, JJ McCarthy will get there eventually. He's still like 21 years old. So, a couple more games and hopefully he kind of catches on. But yeah, sell Ted. I think that's a great call. Also, yes, I think you said it before, Tim. Captain Clutch Pants. Took me a second. All right. One other question. Flex 1, PPR, Woody White, Tet Metcalf. Lean Woody versus Titans. I would agree. I personally don't really like. I don't know. I feel bad. DK Metcalf should be better. And like, if you want a more explosive play, sure. But
he faces the Bengals.
Oh, they are playing the Bengals. Oh, but he got 2 passes last week, and he is notably not a tight end. So if you're a tight end on the Steelers, fire him up.
I think I would go Metcalf personally, but I think Woody was close as well.
Yeah, I do think Metcalf is probably the one that will help you win your week. I think Woody helps you not lose your week.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I just, we're going to talk glowingly about what Davis Mills did last week, but it is also Davis Mills, and he could just pumpkin, even if it is the Titans.
And that's why we love him. And that's why I love him and his long, long neck. All right, let's get to one game right before we kind of take a quick break. This is a Chargers versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know what to do with Jacksonville, so I want to talk about the Chargers because they have way more players first. Herbert at 6,300 seems like a slam dunk. Like we just talked about Baker. Oh, you're welcome, Ripple. You're welcome. Happy to help. I think Herbert is one of those players that would be a little bit better than Baker, just at the price point.
Yeah.
I think there's not much else to really say. I think this is just one of those games where he can rip it and let Ladd cook.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know who to stack him with. It was going to get a little more clear if Gadsden missed, but he was already back at full practice despite the injury, so he's probably playing. If you want to take your shots on which of these guys to play, you can. I would probably choose Gadsden just because it's a more fun and more impactful position to hit if you hit with Gadsden compared to any of the receivers, but I don't think Ladd is a bad play, even if all 4 of them are healthy, but it's definitely a sketchier play than it would have been otherwise. But I think Herbert is probably one of my favorite quarterback plays of the slate. I would play him naked, to be honest.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to queuing up Ladd as much as I could, considering Gadsden's injury, but now it makes it a little murkier, and I'm almost thinking, do I just punt it and try to go for like a QJ big bomb, right? Just like Quentin Johnston.
Yeah.
Now that he's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
And 10 targets last week, which is crazy.
Yep. I don't think
it's tough. That's a tough ask, honestly. All right, I'm gonna hop back over the Jags because the Chargers wide receiver room's kind of a mess. I think if you want to, you can play Vidal.
Yeah,
5,900.
Yep. He's just the guy.
Yeah, and then on the same page, I don't know if I would play Travis Etienne.
You can.
It's just not exciting.
Yeah, it's if you're going to dip your toes in the quote unquote dead zone of running backs on a Sunday slate, I think both of them are perfectly fine guys to shoot your shot on, but you're praying for touchdowns and you're praying for like one breakaway reception or one breakaway rush to really make it worth your while, but they both have that capability, so it's not a terrible bet either way.
Last thing for this game, yeah, you're not playing a Jacksonville tight end, right? I don't think
I don't know if I'm
Who
playing
even?
a Jacksonville player.
Oh, Hunter Long. I forgot that's who they're starting pettiness. I think Brent Wright's still on the IR.
He's practicing, but I don't know if they're going to activate him or not.
I'd be shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the lone Jag I want to play is Parker Washington. Mainly because his price point is pretty nice, and despite a pretty abysmal performance that was against Houston,
Yeah.
and he still scored 2 touchdowns. Like at 4,700 last week, it was pretty nice to see him score a punt return touchdown.
Yep.
As well as I think it was like a 2-yard touchdown or something. Like something he barely fell in. Doesn't matter. Great for us playing DFS.
Yep.
Think about it. If at the end of your roster as you're building and you have 5,100 left over, look his way. You won't be horribly disappointed. Hopefully.
Yeah. If BTJ plays, are you interested, or are we just
not even a little bit?
Yeah,
not even a little bit. It's just too volatile in a way that it almost feels like it's like a 30-70 success rate.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know if I can keep talking about the yips narrative, but it just keeps happening. The dude just keeps dropping balls that are, they're like NFL receptions, right? Yep. They're not always going to be easy. Yes, they go over across the middle, and like you will get hit sometimes. And Trevor Lawrence is like kind of not great, but you still gotta catch it, man. Like,
yeah,
it's frustrating. It's a bummer for sure, considering what he did last year. But that's my mini rant on BTJ. I'm pretty out.
That's fair.
All right, we are going to take a quick ad break, and we will see everybody in about 30 seconds. We are back. It feels cool to have a little ad. It feels legit. Look at us go, huh?
Right.
All right. Next set of games here. It's Minnesota and Chicago, our favorite battles of all time. Caleb Williams versus JJ McCarthy. I would like to play some Bears players. I don't know if the cost will allow me to.
Yeah.
Roma Dunze is the main one, especially since he kind of came back to life last week against the Giants. There's, a belief in, at least for me, that they'll need him in this type of game because I think the Bears defense is pretty dang bad.
Yeah.
And even we saw week 1, the JJ McCarthy led Minnesota Vikings were able to make a fourth quarter comeback. Yeah, I think Rome is a guy I want to play, but I don't know if I can. And I might have to settle for DJ Moore, which stinks.
If he plays.
If he plays. Exactly. Which then, back to what we talked about a couple weeks ago, Lou the Burn time, baby, who may also not play. But it looks like he's practicing.
Yeah, he's fine. Moore and Odunze were both questionable, but they keep popping up on Wednesday and Thursday practice reports and then just keep playing. So I'm not sure what is going on there, but I haven't heard anything too negative about either of them.
Okay. They're just tired. They're just tuckered out. It's a long season.
It's very exhausting having to play on the Bears, so I get it. Yeah, I think Rome is in play. He's, as you said, he's a little pricey, but I don't really trust any of the tertiary options in Chicago. they will hit, but you will never know which week it's going to be, especially against a better defense like Minnesota, where everything is about them blitzing. And let's face it, Caleb is not the best when it comes to making decisions under pressure. So I think it's Rome. I don't think you're going to enjoy it, but I think he definitely still has the potential to get there. Caleb, Caleb and JJ both, maybe.
I would play Caleb. I don't know if I can trust JJ. I do truly think Caleb is kind of turning into a type of player that you can really rely on due to like fantasy value, because he has a really solid rushing floor now.
Yeah.
63 yards last week, 50 yards the week prior, even 20 yards against Baltimore is fine. If he throws a touchdown, like I don't think you're really going to be like overly disappointed. It'll still stink. It's not what you paid for.
Yeah.
But he does get there. There is an avenue for him to be the type of quarterback that can really help you win your weeks. So I'm in on him. JJ, not so much. Though I am kind of curious what he did last week, because it wasn't, well, that's pretty bad. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, but he did run for 48 yards.
He's faced 2 really good defenses since he's been back. Like the Lions are a great defense, and the Ravens are finally healthy. They're still not a great pass rush, but they are a better defense than they were to begin the season for sure. Like the only time we've seen him play against a bad defense was against the Bears, where he did perfectly fine for fantasy. He was actually good for you. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I could absolutely see him giving you another 20 to 25 this week without problems.
Yeah, and I kind of put my foot in my mouth because he scored 20 points in week 9, 19.9.
Yeah.
And another 16.5 points last week. That's not going to kill you. I mean, it doesn't help you really win, but it doesn't bury you like it would for some other quarterback. So maybe my initial thought was wrong, and maybe this is actually a QB that could definitely save a bunch of money on and still kind of have a rushing touchdown floor type of play.
Yeah. I mean, last week it was about as bad from a point scoring perspective as you could expect, of 2 interceptions. Like they didn't score that many points, and he still got you almost 17 despite all of that working against him. So I think he does have a bit of a safe floor. It's not the highest floor, but it is a floor.
Shocked. I'm truly shocked that I'm now talking myself into some JJ McCarthy shares. All right, we'll come back to you, JJ, towards the end of the show, because I think you'll be rattled off in a couple scenarios. All right, I'm just looking at the clock here. I'm gonna start moving a little quick through these last few games here, so we can get to the fun bit of roster building. So the next game, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. Everybody, just throw them all in there. Just you can just make your picking. Be happy.
On the Bengals side, absolutely everybody. I would even consider like Yoshi Voss. Like, again, the Pittsburgh defense is not good. Like everyone, it's very hard for a lot of folks to conceptualize, because you think the Steelers and you just think it's a good defense, but they're just not this year. It's honestly kind of a miracle that they're in first place in their division. The Bengals offense is, you just play them every week at this point. And the best part is that Joe Burrow is probably going to be back in the next couple of weeks, and you'll just continue to do the same thing. But on the Steelers side, definitely Rodgers, definitely Jalen Warren, definitely Metcalf. There are some folks that are really into Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson. I don't know if I would go that far. You could. Like, again, it is the Bengals, so there is certainly a pathway where one of them or both of them hits, but it's going to be very disgusting to ride that out.
I don't know if you want to watch and stress yourself Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Trying to hope for that Roman Wilson bomb touchdown again. So, yeah, I would agree. No, thanks. I'm pretty sure Aaron Rodgers hates Calvin Austin.
I know.
He had a couple drops last week. He just might be doghoused. And knowing Aaron Rodgers, if you're in his doghouse, goodbye.
Yeah.
See you later. Just banish the shadow realm. We'll never see you again. Tight ends. All three of them scored last time. These two faced off.
Yeah. I would play Freiermuth. I would probably play Jonnu if I really had to. Fant hasn't really been as involved as you would like, even with Gesicki out, but it's still a good matchup, so it's not the worst punt in the world either. But I think you just play everyone in this game. Maybe am I wrong? He actually has been very good. I did not realize that. That has been so under the radar.
I mean, the stat lines, I hate saying things like, oh, but he didn't score would be bad. Well, that's the whole bit, but he did. So, right? Because he scored twice in the past 3 weeks, both of which helps him get over to double-digit points. I'm staring at this stat line. He had 0 targets, but 2 receptions. That doesn't seem right. I wonder if that counts as the push pass, the little jet sweep until he just drops it forward into Noah Fant's arms. That doesn't seem right.
I think that's a typo. We could have had 10. Who knows?
I know, truly. And if it's 10, yeah, I'm firing up. No fan, are you kidding me? But
Flacco gave them Chase Brown had 14 targets last game they played. Something like that
is what we're talking about. Let's see. Yeah, all right. So clearly it's broken. So broken. 8 receptions, 14 targets.
Yeah, 14 targets last week. And he didn't smash.
Joe Flacco, thank you so much for saving the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yep. Play everyone. Even the defense. Not Cincinnati. You could play Pittsburgh's defense, though.
You could definitely play Pittsburgh defense. I would be shocked if anyone queued up the Bengals defense. I'm shocked that that's even worth 2,400 and not just 2,000 straight up. Just like, we have to put in a price for the sake of it.
They could get some sacks, but those don't really score that many points on DraftKings, unfortunately.
Yeah, and when the Steelers drop 30, you'll probably be in the negatives and not feeling great about that.
Yep.
Next up, Houston, Tennessee. We'll talk super quick.
Skip.
Because there's one half of this game that we just won't even touch. Texans team is where we're attacking for sure. Davis Mills, 4,500. He absolutely torched the Jacksonville Jaguars in only the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Hilarious bit from Davis Mills. I don't think he scores a rushing touchdown, but I do think we see this kind of stat line similar again, which is totally serviceable. I'll totally be happy with that.
Yeah.
Running back, like we talked about Woody Marks a little bit earlier.
Yeah. Play him.
This seems good.
This is the matchup you want to play Woody Marks in. I would even be okay playing Nick Chubb.
Yeah, this is the one where I'm skeptical about because he had 9 yards a carry last week.
Yeah.
And they didn't really give him the ball. I do wonder if they push that back up, considering the Tennessee defense and how the game script could go, which is they're winning, just run the ball and just leave.
Yep.
Wide receivers, I'm playing Nico Collins. That's it. I think you can get cheeky with Jaden Higgins.
Yeah, he's been more involved the last few weeks. I think his snap share has gone up from like 40% to the 60% range since their bye. So he's on the field. It's really just a matter of how much does this team throw to want to target him. But I don't think he's a bad play at all. You should play them. You should play players against bad defenses, even if it doesn't work out. It's the process that counts.
Couldn't say it better myself. Anything else for this game?
If Dalton Schultz plays, you should play him. I don't know if he's going to play, though. I think he got banged up.
Another guy that's been really quiet and yet somehow just completely smashing every time he gets onto the field, I guess, except for the San Fran game. But
yeah, but he was Davis Mills' best friend last week. So if both of them are playing, well, Mills is definitely playing. Stroud's already been ruled out with a concussion. So if Schultz plays, I would play him.
Yeah, I mean, seven catches, 7 points just to start.
Yeah,
awesome floor. Okay, let's head over your neck of the woods, Arizona, San Francisco. Will in Discord made a very, very good question. Is it feasible to even play Trey McBride at 6,300 at the tight end spot?
It's not only feasible, it is almost required. Brock Bowers is not on this slate. Tyler Warren is not on this slate. Sam Laporta is questionable and I think not on this slate. It is basically Trey McBride and everybody else. And it's priced that way, and it should be. Marvin Harrison is out. They're going to throw the ball still because they're down to their fourth string running back at this point. Like, they're not going to just give the ball to Amari DiMarcado 30 times. Like, it's going to go to Trey McBride. And as long as Jacoby Brissett is the quarterback, he scores touchdowns, he scores fantasy points. He's basically a wide receiver one at the tight end position, and he's $2,000 cheaper than the wide receiver one on the slate. So he's required playing for me.
I landed at that same exact process, truly, because he is putting up wide receiver numbers at the tight end spot. And you don't get that all the time. And like you said, and we've said this before a couple times, just the way DFS has gone this season, you really do have to pay up for the elite of the elite if you want the value. Like, if you want to get that slate breaking potential, like, you obviously have to pay up. None of the other lower end tight ends can really get you there.
Yeah.
Trey McBride now with the opportunity to truly do something special. Yeah, I'm with you.
He could get 15 targets in this game. Like, Michael Wilson is fine, but he's not going to just become Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, they're going to just call more plays for Trey McBride.
And for what's worth, they're going to need to.
Yeah.
San Francisco is going to come through. Brock Purdy looks like he's coming back. They're getting healthier. Ricky Pearsall might be coming back too.
Yep, I would play him. That's a hot take, but I would play him immediately.
Mr. Pearsall, you think he's going to take the targets away from Juwan Jennings?
I mean, when they were both on the field last time, he was the one. He was playing well to start this season. It just immediately fell off the rails after the first couple of weeks for him. But I mean,
oh my God,
11.
Yeah. 8 of 11 for 117
against the Cardinals as well. Like,
perfect timing.
He gets open. Brock Purdy throws to open players. Like, the Cardinals defense is banged up. San Fran is kind of in must-win territory at this point if they want to stay in a playoff race. Like, I think, to some extent they'll ride CMC as they always do, but I think that they're going to want Purdy to get his sea legs under him, and I think this is a matchup they try and do that with Pearsall in particular.
I dig it. I think that's a great call. I didn't realize, and it feels like it's been forever since we've seen Pearsall play, so I completely faded his double 100-yard reception game out of my memory.
Yep.
Real quick, CMC. Yep. Okay.
Amari DiMarcado, 4,500. I don't think Bam Knight plays. There's literally nobody else. Like, they don't like Michael Carter that much. They would rather give DiMarcado the ball. And San Francisco's defense is basically gone. So Arizona will put up points in this game. It's really just a matter of who puts up more points, I think. Someone we haven't talked about, but I think we need to, is Jacoby Brissett.
Yep.
everyone thought he did horribly last week. He still scored over 20 fantasy points. He has every single week that he started. It doesn't matter. You should be playing him. He is egregiously underpriced at this point.
This is probably my lock of a quarterback this week.
Yep.
For exactly that reason. He just is getting it done. And I don't really think we should think too much about those lost fumbles. The Seattle defense is legit. I don't fault him for having to, do what he needs to do and just play in a very tough situation, which was be down by 30 points before you blinked.
Yeah. I mean, everyone wants to blame him, but it's one combined second between the two plays from them being incomplete passes, and it was a close game that they scored a lot of points in, but it just happened to not bounce their way twice in the same game. So he's still, I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure he's only thrown one pick as a starter this year, maybe zero even.
In the first game as a starter, he threw a pick.
Yeah.
So since then, clean slate.
Yep. Like, he is not pumpkined yet. So I would say just keep riding it out until he does.
Love it. Okay. 3 games left. We have a few moments here. Seattle and Los Angeles. Both QBs, I think, are in play. Stafford, maybe a little less so at 6,600. Sam Darnold, I think you shake off last week. If you got any thoughts on MVP hopeful Matt Stafford?
I think you play him. I really do. I mean, look at his last 3 games. It's nothing under 26.8 fantasy points. He's thrown 4 touchdowns in every game of the last 3 weeks, regardless of his opponent, how good or bad they are.
He's just slanging that thing. Oh my God.
Like,
all right.
He is fully unlocked. Whatever was wrong with his back is gone, or he is on the best pain pills known to mankind. Puka's healthy. Devontae Adams will probably play. I think you just play Stafford. He's basically just Patrick Mahomes, but instead of the points you get for rushing yards, you get an extra passing touchdown instead to kind of make up for it right now.
Yeah, he is on a tear, truly. And the best thing about Stafford is that you can pair him with 2 elite options at wide receiver, and now you're really on fire.
Yep.
Right. And Puka, 8,700, obviously priced at the top of the list for good reason. He's just that good. The other name, Devontae Adams, just take a look at his oblique injury.
Yeah.
Because if he misses time, someone needs these targets, and I think it's going right back to Puka.
Yeah.
JSN, he's in if you can afford him.
Yeah, this game has the 2 most expensive wide receivers on the slate, and it's very tempting to play both. It's just a matter of can you.
What are you willing to give up? That's truly the toughest part about this whole thing.
Yep.
The running backs I'm a little less excited about because the defenses are set in a way that these don't really offer really high ceiling type of plays. High ceiling plays.
Yeah. Kyron he's been good. Again, especially the last 2 weeks after the bye, he's just getting a lot of work and a lot of goal line work, but it's 6,900 is very expensive. So you can play him, but I'm not feeling great about it.
And for a receiver who has oddly not gotten a lot of passing work this season, it doesn't seem as justifiable of a price as say 6,600 or 6,300 when he really or 6,000 when he really came through.
Yeah.
Ken Walker, Zach Charbonnet, pass.
Yep,
for sure.
No thanks.
Tight ends, just real quick. I don't think you can really trust any of them. I don't even know if there's really a dart throw that you'd want outside of maybe Terrence Ferguson.
Well, what's very interesting, and this is getting way too deep into it for game 9 on an 11-game slate, but pretty much Matt Stafford started playing fantastic when the Rams were playing the most 12 and 13 personnel of anyone in the league, which really only started happening the last 3 or 4 games. When that's been happening, Stafford has been, blowing up. Puka has dropped off a little bit. Devontae Adams has gone up, and all of their tight ends are scoring points basically every week. It's not a lot, but the red zone targets are going to their tight ends. Ferguson has been pretty solid. Higbee is getting touchdowns. Who's their third one? Davis Allen is getting work.
Yeah, Davis Allen found one last week.
Yeah, I think Colby Parkinson has even caught something at one point. Like, they're playing a lot of 13 personnel at this point, and it's working great for them. So they're all going to be on the field. I don't think you should play any of them, but I would rather play them than like Jatavian Sanders, even though he's obviously the tight end in Carolina, because I just don't think he has touchdown upside, and all 3 of these guys do.
Well, it goes back to play good players and good teams, right?
Yep.
All right, 2 more games. KC, Denver, another divisional slugfest, and yikes. Against 2 really good teams. I don't know how many guys I want. There's certainly people I do want in this, mainly RJ Harvey.
Yeah.
No J.K. Dobbins. RJ Harvey, to me, feels like an absolute slam dunk because he does it all.
Yeah. I think I'm higher on this game than a lot of folks. Patrick Surtain is out. I think Rashee Rice is just as good as all the other expensive wide receivers and is $800 cheaper than that grouping up there. He will just get peppered with targets. That's all he ever does when he plays, is get peppered with targets. Somewhat funnily, because we've talked about this guy all year, and he's just kind of crept up, but Troy Franklin is their number 1 receiver now. It is not Cortland Sutton. It is Troy Franklin. He is getting the target share week in and week out. He is getting red zone looks. He is getting down the field looks. He is getting design stuff. He's their wide receiver 1, and he's 5,400. I know the Chiefs are a good defense, but I think you should play Troy Franklin at 5,400. Bo Nix is just going to feed him the ball.
If this game script goes in a way that I think it will, which is, like you said, Rashee Rice doing his thing, they might need to be throwing the ball back and forth. Like, this might not be as low scoring of affair that, I even think it will be. Like, personally, I do think this is going to be kind of like a shocking kind of just blow for blow. Teams that need to really rely on their defenses to kind of get there because the other team's defense is really strong. I might just be completely misreading this matchup completely. And Troy Franklin could get another 7 targets. He probably will end up with a long bomb touchdown. And you'll be stoked because I don't know how many people are going to be actually queuing him up because of the matchup, because of, like you said, the perception of this game.
Yep. Yeah. His last 4 weeks, 37 targets in 4 weeks. Like, that's wide receiver 1 type of volume. It hasn't mattered the game script. It hasn't mattered who they faced, what their defenders are like. He's just getting there. He's scoring a lot of touchdowns. And Patrick Mahomes is relatively defense-proof at this point, now that the Chiefs care somewhat about scoring points. It's not going to be fun, but he does still run the ball. He does have good weapons around him again for the first time. So I do think there is the possibility that it's gross and it's a slugfest. But I also think that there's an underrated possibility that it's actually kind of a shootout. It is a divisional game with a bunch of injuries. Like, things can just be chaotic like that.
And with the AFC West in the balance,
yeah,
like Casey's gonna need to do something pretty big. I would not be shocked that like your vision of this game goes exactly that way. Bo Nix, I'm not playing because there's just no way. To me, like it's such a, at least for me, it's kind of like a whiplash where we like Troy Franklin, but I don't like Bo Nix.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I can really trust him enough. He just hasn't really, like, I don't know. It feels weird because you look at his scores and he has done great things for you, yet I'm not confident. Maybe it's because there's some other guys I like better.
I mean, look at the defenses he did it against. Cincinnati, the Giants, and the Cowboys. Enough said.
Oh, yeah.
Every other defense, he has not done it.
He's been very human, very vulnerable. Okay, last game. Baltimore, Cleveland. Gonna ask real quick, any Cleveland players you want?
I always say yes to Harold Fannin, and that's about it.
Okay, fair enough. Not even Judkins? Oh, he's expensive. Maybe not.
He's expensive, and like he still doesn't catch passes, and there's almost no way that they're up in this game where he'll be getting work. So it feels sketchy to me. There's one scenario where he works out, and if you want to play into that scenario, I don't say it's the worst play in the world, but like that's the only scenario where it works out. So good luck.
Yeah, I played him last week. I really thought that matchup against the Jets was going to be a layup. I was thoroughly disappointed, and really makes me realize the Browns' offense might be broken because they really should have torched the Jets. And
Turns out when you have 5 quarterbacks on the roster, you actually have 0 quarterbacks on the roster.
Who could have seen this coming? I can't believe it. Lamar Jackson, at 6,900.
I'm playing.
Yeah, play him. I think he was quote unquote disappointing last week, but not. I mean, from a football standpoint, he was totally fine. Didn't really need to do crazy stuff.
Yeah.
For fantasy, sure, it's disappointing, but it's Lamar Jackson. I don't think you can count him out too long.
He can just throw for 4 to 5 touchdowns any given week, even if he doesn't run. And they have to win. If they want to win this division, make the playoffs, all that good stuff, they can't lose trap games. They can't even really think about losing trap games. So like if they don't come out and just absolutely beat the brakes off of the Browns, they're going to be in big trouble. So I think that their game plan is going to be to try and do that.
I believe it. And in tow, Zay Flowers in. Yep.
Zay Flowers, if you want to take a random shot on Bateman, I think he's perfectly playable. I think Jerry Jeudy is playable, as gross as it sounds. And he was great last week. He once again became the target leader. Especially with Fannin like somewhat banged up and Njoku back healthy, I think Jeudy has kind of gone back to being the guy for them. So it won't equate to much. Like even against a bad defense like the Jets, he didn't really break anything, but he will at least get the targets.
Get the targets. He'll get the volume. He'll get at least an opportunity once or twice for a long play. At 4,400, that's not. There could be worse options. A wide receiver 1 at 4,400 is pretty nuts.
Yeah,
and that just goes to show the confidence in the Cleveland Browns offense.
Yep.
I think that's it. We didn't even talk about Derrick Henry. Sure, if you want to.
Yeah.
It's like quick price check, 6,600. Maybe. If you feel passionately about him, sure, go for it.
I'd say he's a better play than Judkins for sure.
Yes,
at a similar price
I would
point.
Completely agree. Okay, that's the main slate. walk through a brisk 64 minutes. Let's build a roster. Starting, as always, with 50,000 DK dollars to build our salary. Now, one thing I do want to just offer up to you straight away, right to the tight end tab. Let's hop in with Trey McBride. Let's just get our big points done. No concern there. And I'm going to punt it over to the QB. And once again, I would lean towards playing Brissett here to counteract the price of McBride.
Yep. That was going to be the exact stack that I started with. So we're on the same page.
Perfect.
It's not even Cardinals homerism. It's just Brissett's too cheap and McBride is too in line to smash, to pass up on regardless of price.
Exactly. And how they've played, this is a good 50 points to start your day. Can't be mad about that.
Yep.
Hey, Jamie, thanks for hopping in. We are at the most exciting part of the whole show. We're building our DFS roster. So thanks for hopping in at the perfect time. We have started with our onesies positions here. So let's hop into the running backs. Now, I am tempted to just once again fire up our boy, Mr. Moneymaker himself, CMC, just to see where we kind of go from here. Kicking off with like kind of a 9K price tag.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards going pretty low here to scroll down.
There's the option to really believe in the Cardinals. We do not have to, but DeMarcado is 4,500.
I like it.
There's also Woody Marks, who I think is good at 5,400.
At that same price, I'm curious if you prefer Woody Marks over RJ Harvey. Same exact price. Now we're talking. See, that's the thing. Now we're talking about the defenses, where it's like the Titans clearly are a worse defense than the Chiefs. Like I don't think anyone's gonna debate you on that. But the talent of RJ Harvey is a little more exciting.
It's laid out perfectly, and that scares me because Sean Payton absolutely loves to ignore that and just play Tyler Bidet on 40% of snaps.
Oh, I know.
Like, that is so going to happen. I can just feel it.
Which is going to break so many hearts. It's going to hurt so bad.
It is. Something else I want to bring up. Again, I don't know if we play him, but Sean Tucker against that Bills rushing defense, they don't seem particularly enthused with Rachaad White. He has been pretty mediocre, as he is pretty mediocre. I could see Tucker getting there, but he is certainly a long play.
I'm shocked he's 5K.
Yeah.
I keep checking the Rachaad White descriptions to make sure he's not injured, because I think there's almost not like an unwarranted amount of hype around Sean Tucker, but he had a few good runs against the Patriots, and I guess now we're all very excited about his opportunity to take over that role. I don't see it as much.
That's fair.
Just because that's just how the Bucs have always been. That it's just Rachaad White is way more trusted, way more of a sure thing. So this is the part where it's really tricky. I'm actually thinking we just kick it over to Emari Demercado for now. See where we go, because you're absolutely right. A running back that will have the bulk of the reps at that price is going to be helpful for us to get an advantage. Other, and if he gets us 10 points, awesome. Done. Yeah. If he falls forward into the end zone, all right, we'll call it a day. I'm pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, I mean, right now, shockingly, all we've done so far is build a Niners-Cardinals mega stack.
We love the NFC West in this house. Absolutely. Wide receivers, looking at kind of how our price tags will go, I am worried that we're going to keep playing Ricky Pearsall and we're just going to stick with the whole stack again.
Probably not. But we'd have to really believe this is a shootout.
This is a tricky one because now I'm looking at guys like Tez Johnson, who did score twice last week.
Yeah.
Who is a genuine wide receiver 2 for this offense against a Bills defense that is pretty weakish, I should say. Do you think it's worth, again, kind of going cheaper here on one of our first wideouts?
Man, they're just the only cheap wide receiver I like more than him is unfortunately another Cardinal, and I'm not going to suggest that because
we're not playing. I don't think Michael Wilson's going to make this one. I forgot that Jerry Jeudy we just talked about moments ago. 4,400. Probably just worth slotting in here.
Could also go. He's not the cheapest, but Troy Franklin at 5,400 is still pretty affordable. He does get us under the type of average that we're looking for, and he's going to soak up targets. So we could play both even. Just do Franklin and Tez or Jeudy and see where that leaves us.
Sitting at 5,100. This is where I will do. This is kind of when I'm building my rosters at home on the couch. This is where I go over the defense and see what I can do to really get some value here. So obviously, some of the great plays, the Ravens against the Browns, I love that. Probably not what we're going to do this week. Texans against the Tennessee Titans, again, elite versus just don't want Jeudy, no Browns, no trust. Truly, any other situation, I would agree. However, this team needs to score points, and he's going to get 10 targets. We just got to pray that they're enough. And he catches 7 catches for 30 yards and gets us to maybe 15 points. I am going to scroll, sadly, and start looking at some of these defenses down here because I think there is opportunity to have a little bit of that like random special teams type of scoring from one of the lower cost defenses to save us here.
Yeah, there are also a couple like legitimately good defenses in bad matchups. If you want to look at the Broncos or the Seahawks, they're the cheapest they're ever going to be.
And these are going to be playoff type of matchups too, so it is interesting.
Yep. The problem is that they're facing quarterbacks that basically never turn the ball over.
Hate it. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Hate that Patrick Mahomes guy.
Jaguars or the Chargers are mediocre defenses. They're not bad defenses. They're average, and they're facing quarterbacks with no offensive line on both sides. Lawrence loves to throw picks, and Herbert loves to eat sacks.
I know. God. I would say, if I were to do something like this, I would lean towards the Chargers defense because of the lack of weapons on the Jacksonville side. And I'm not sure if the Jacksonville defense is true. Like, I don't know if this defense is actually the real thing that we saw. I've just kind of seen them be a little worse each week.
Yeah.
So I would definitely prefer the Chargers, especially after a pretty dominant performance against the Steelers.
Yep.
All right. So this is the best part about when we do this. Right now, our average is 6,000. Let's go. We can actually truly start looking at some pretty good options here. We have 2 spots left, so that feels so good. So looking over to our wide receivers, Rome Odunze is slotting exactly where we want him to be, someone who I'm really excited about. I know the Vikings defense is good. I do think that's a divisional match that needs to get pretty points need to be scored to win this game.
I'd also
Or we can just get T. Higgins and get a part of that Cincinnati game. And I think this is kind of layup here.
Yeah, I think a Bengal should be on every roster is my general vote.
Which then brings us to the flex. If you want to get nice and tidy, Nico Collins, 6,700. I'm about to just slam yes. Derrick Henry, just we talked about, 6,600. I'm okay with leaving $100 on the board.
Something else that is floating around to me is going a little cheaper and replacing Judy with someone a little better and just kind of going more a couple like 5,000-ish range guys. I just kind of like that range better. And Judy is a target play, but he is a disgusting target play for a reason. Like he had like his optimal outcome last week and he didn't even hit 20 points.
And maybe that should have been the red flag all along.
Yeah.
You know, we're staring at 13 targets. It's the Browns. We don't need to stress ourselves with that.
Yeah.
Because you're absolutely right. Because now we get access to Wandale, who I did think was just a PPR scam artist, but maybe it doesn't even matter. We get Jordan Addison again in that same matchup that we like Roma Dunze in.
Yep. Could go Metcalf at 57.
And I'm just curious about our flex here. If we kind of look back towards some of the other running backs, if we had an option. So I'm just going to just look here.
I like Chase Brown at 5,700 for a flex.
That feels really good.
I think,
and even on the other, I mean, Jalen Warren at 6,100.
Yep. I don't hate Vidal at 59. I don't hate Swift. I don't hate ETN. I kind of like the running backs in this range a lot, actually.
And again, we're back to Marks versus Harvey as well. If you wanted to stay under the average here, I would probably lock in Chase Brown.
That's what I was thinking.
I think just, again, give me more Bengals against this matchup. We saw it last time. Explosion, just like unbelievably close game. There it is.
I'm grinning because guess who's at the top?
Welcome back, Ricky. Pretty Ricky Pearsall. I think, yeah, man. I think you do, because I think this is just worth it. And truly, it's one of those. We like our stack with the Cardinals at the moment. Pearsall does give us an avenue into the other side of that game, so we can kind of root for more points the more and more we go. I would be content with this lineup.
I would as well. It's a lot of faith in some gross teams, but that's kind of where we're at in this day and age of the slate. So I'm all for it.
So I wonder. Let's see. I'm gonna go rogue for a second. I want to see if I can zoom in. I don't know how well people can see the whole thing. Oh goodness. All right. Just a little closer up on our full lineup here. And for those listening, it's Jacoby Brissett at quarterback, CMC, Amari DiMarcado are our running backs, Torrey Franklin, Ricky Pearsall, and T. Higgins are our wide receiver positionals. Trey McBride is our tight end, Chase Brown in our flex, and then we're queuing up the Los Angeles Chargers as our defense for this week's Fantasy Now Plus weekly competition. That's it. I think that's it for us tonight. John Mechie just scored a touchdown. Good for him. Honestly, didn't even know he was on the Jets.
I forgot until I saw a post on Blue Sky about it and was like, oh yeah, he's probably their wide receiver one now. That's fun.
Good for him. Him or AD Mitchell, your call. You get to choose on the New York Jets, and that's why we love them. Oh my Lord. Someone help Aaron Glenn, because this is going to be a rough rebuild.
Yeah.
Okay. Josh and Justin and Sean are be so excited that we're pushing 130, but it doesn't matter because I thought this was a great show. I thought this was a great episode of Get Tilted. Anything we miss? Any last words of wisdom?
Yeah, I mean, you guys saw it. It's hard to find the cheap guys. We have stressed that this show. I stressed it last show. Like, the value's kind of just gone. So you are going to have to start living with some projections you don't like in your lineups, or you're going to have to start passing up on the obvious super expensive guys to hope that you can just get some of the lesser owned, cheaper guys that will give you something similar. And that's probably going to be how the slate is for the rest of the season. So it gets harder from here, but that's honestly what makes it so fun.
And what I'll say to that is start convincing yourself that these players can make it happen. Start giving you the possibilities. Saying, you know what, all we need one 60-yard touchdown, and that's enough for my 4,700 cost receiver. Because sometimes you just need get a little lucky. Better to be lucky than good, I always say.
Yep.
So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to be back. And I don't know the concept of time. Is next week Thanksgiving? No, we have one more week. We have 2 more weeks. But preemptively, we will say there will not be a Get Tilted on Thanksgiving Day. We will be doing Thanksgiving things. So next week will be week 12 as usual. We'll take a break and we'll be back for week 14. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your night and best of luck on your slates this weekend. Peace out.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.